Shalom, giving all praises unto Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Basham Okakadash, giving double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom unto the elect. And I go into today's article from Voice of America, VOA, and it states spending on nuclear weapons hit 91.4 billion in 2023, watchdog finds. Geneva, the world's 9 nuclear-armed states together spent 91.4 billion last year, or nearly $3,000 per second, as they continue to modernize and in some cases expand their arsenals, according to report issued Monday by ICAN, the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons. This money is effectively being wasted, given that the nuclear-armed states agree that a nuclear war can never be won and should never be fought. Alicia Sanders-Sacre, co-author of the report, told journalists in Geneva last week in advance of the report's publication. For example, she said 91.4 billion a year could pay for wind power for more than 12 million homes, to combat climate change, or cover 27% of the global funding gap to fight climate change, protect biodiversity, and cap pollution. The report shows the nuclear-armed states spent $10.7 billion more on nuclear weapons in 2023 compared with 2022, with the United States accounting for 80% of that increase. Exactly, and it states, roughly paraphrasing, is it in Proverbs or where it states that Salakia, if I'm not, if I haven't got it, it's just roughly paraphrasing where it states, who resisteth the Lord's will, the heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord, and he directeth it to wheresoever he wills. So despite this, United States, no matter what they do, the Lord is putting in their spirit to, and the other nations, to increase their expenditure on nuclear weapons. And I read again, the report shows the nuclear-armed states spent 10.7 billion more on nuclear weapons in 2023 compared with 2022, with the United States accounting for 80% of that increase. ICAN reports the United States spent $51.5 billion more than all the other nuclear-armed countries put together. It says the next biggest spender was China at 11.8 billion, with Russia spending the third largest amount at 8.3 billion. The report notes that the United Kingdom's spending was up significantly for the second year in a row, with a 17% increase to 8.1 billion, just behind Russia. The combined total of the 5 other nuclear powers, France, India, Israel, Pakistan, and North Korea, amounted to 11.6 billion last year. The authors of the report say companies involved in the production of nuclear weapons received new contracts worth just less than $7.9 billion in 2023. Analysis of data gathered over the past 5 years shows that the nuclear-armed states collectively spent $387 billion on their nuclear arsenals. There has been notable upward trend in the amount of money devoted to developing these most inhumane and destructive of weapons over the past 5 years, which is now accelerating, Sanders Sacre said. All this money is not improving global security. In fact, it's threatening people wherever they live. Yeah, exactly. And all thanks to Esau, as usual. But the Mosai is the one controlling this devil to do these things in order to ruin him in the end. Arms control experts share these concerns and warn of the dangers of a new arms race as the nuclear powers build up their arsenals in defiance of the spirit of the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, which aims to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and weapons technology. That will never happen. A report in the May issue of Foreign Affairs magazine cites Washington's concern about China's rapidly expanding nuclear arsenal. According to Pentagon estimates, under Chinese President Xi Jinping, Beijing is on track to amass 1,000 nuclear warheads by 2030, up from 200 in 2019. A 2023 report by the Congressional Commission on the Strategic Posture of the United States insists that China's nuclear expansion should prompt U.S. policymakers to reevaluate the size and composition of the nuclear force. The Commission also expressed disquiet at Russia's increasingly aggressive behavior, including the unprecedented growth of its nuclear forces, diversification and expansion of its theater-based nuclear systems, the invasion of Ukraine in 2014 and subsequent full-scale invasion in February 2022. International anxiety about an accidental or deliberate tactical nuclear attack by Russia was on display this past weekend at the G7 summit in Italy at the Peace Summit for Ukraine in Switzerland. In their final communique, the G7 leaders condemned Russia's blatant breach of international law, affirming that in this context, threats by Russia of nuclear weapons use, let alone any use of nuclear weapons by Russia in the context of its war of aggression against Ukraine, would be inadmissible. This sentiment was mirrored in a final declaration signed by most of the 100 countries that attended the Ukrainian Peace Conference. Notable holders included India, Indonesia, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, and South Africa. Referring to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, ACAN Executive Director Melissa Park warned this war has increased nuclear tensions between Russia and the West to their highest level since the Cold War, and there is now a real threat of nuclear conflict as a result of Russia's numerous overt and tacit nuclear threats. ICAN's report, which profiles 20 countries involved in the production, maintenance, and development of nuclear weapons, notes that altogether there is $335 billion in outstanding contracts related to nuclear weapons work. While the report shows significant growth in nuclear spending over the last 5 years, Susie Snyder, ICAN's program coordinator and report co-author, observes there also has been growth in global resistance to these weapons of mass destruction. The Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons has signatures from nearly 100 countries. 111 investors representing about $5 trillion in assets stated their support for the treaty, she said. They demanded that more efforts be made to exclude the nuclear weapons industry from their business until these countries stop doing things prohibited by the treaty, she said, noting the treaty is a clear pathway forward. It is a way to reduce tension, to condemn threats, and to stop this new nuclear arms race that we have illustrated here before it surges any further out of control. These fools thinking they can upset the Mosai's prophecy of destruction upon Babylon the Great using the nuclear weapons upon Esau's kingdom. And I conclude with these following precepts. Let's see, Isaiah 54 verses 16, and it reads, Behold, I have created a smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created a waster to destroy. Exactly. And it is for this specific purpose the nuclear weapons were created, because Most High put it in the spirit of Esau's scientists to create these devastating nuclear weapons and missiles in order for them to use them to destroy their kingdom in the last days, and which is why also they are increasing their expenditure on nuclear weapon production all throughout the Western world, especially those who possess it. And I go to this precept of Joel 3 verses 9 to 10. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Exactly. And this goes into the weaker nations like Iran, North Korea, Pakistan, India, and whatnot, which possesses these nuclear weapons that are equally devastating as Esau's nuclear weapon as well. So it looks like they also have some kind of leverage over Esau, and the prophecy is speaking loudly now in these days through this very scripture. And I go to the last and concluding chapter here, Jeremiah 50 verses 14, and it reads, Jeremiah 50 verses 14, Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord Yahweh Basham Yahushai. Exactly. And those nations that possess nuclear weapons, in the end will fire all of it especially upon Babylon the Great, and Babylon too will also fire back as well. And so it looks like this planet will be in for a terrible, devastating destruction from the Lord of Hosts in the near future. And we hope that this year of our deliverance and the destruction of Esau, we hope that this prophecy hastens quickly. And so I end this lesson by giving all praises unto Yahweh Basham Yahushai Basham Rekakadash, and double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this word of truth, and shalom unto the elect.